Hello everyone and welcome back to another video of the F1 2020 Drive Cream over Renault episode number 46 to today for the United States Grand Prix of Season 3, round number 14. We've got two races after in Brazil and Abu Dhabi as well, because purely because at the time I hadn't driven the, after choosing this I hadn't driven the track. But yes, we had an invitational event as well at Hungary, and pretty much as with everything with the pursuits, they are terrible. I couldn't even catch them and we actually crashed. So that went well. So instead, we're not getting any acclaim for that, so that's really not going to help in proving to Renault that we should be having our contract renewed. But we do have enough points for this ultimate weight reduction upgrade. So it's going to come in the time for the Brazilian Grand Prix, which is good. I'm trying to balance the car, because if you watch the previous episode at Japan, you know that we did struggle there at Japan. But yes, moving to the USA.
Alright, listen up everyone. They've announced that the technical regulations are changing for next season. Now there's a risk a lot of our hard work could be undone if we're not careful, so let's figure out how to mitigate this. Drivers, take a look at the developments we have and let us know what you want to invest in protecting. Alright everyone, let's get on top of this.
So yes, it's going to be a reset on the aero and chassis side, so I'm waiting to see what we can do. The thing is that the minor ones to be redone cost 500 R&D points, just over, and the majors are 1,000. So this is a major reset. It's not like I'm in my team where you've got loads of R&D points and you're able to get ahead. But yes, moving into qualifying then, it's a wet qualifying as well. It's going to be wet for the entire time, despite Jeff's false weather forecast. Or it will dry up, it's just the fact that it's not going to dry up in time, basically, for us. And there was all more bad news as we entered the car.
We seem to be having some software issues at the moment. Sit tight for a few minutes while we reboot some things, okay?
Well, we know whose fault of the software issues are, don't we? Ah, that's a joke, okay. I'm sure, well actually no, he's an engineer, so technically you'd need a technician for the software issues, surely, but don't ask me. I'm just a gamer who's watched F1 for a long time. But anyway, enough rambling on about that. We've come into wet qualifying. It's obviously dried up, but not enough for DRS to be enabled and to go onto the softs. Unfortunately, we are running a dry setup because the race is bone dry, with 2 tenths up going into, but as you can see, we're down in P17 once again. So it's definitely struggling again in qualifying. This is to be expected now. I mean, we've done 46 episodes, and every time we've had a bad qualifying, apart from like twice. So the pretty much 40, I'd say 40-ish the episodes we've had bad qualifyings. Once again, long on the way of Ocon as well. So it's going to be an interesting how we can make the race strategy. Well, obviously everybody has a free choice of tyres with the race. It's time for the race of today's United States Grand Prix.
Welcome once again then to the United States Grand Prix here in the magnificent city of Austin. It was here in 2018 that Kimi Räikkönen delighted the world by winning for the first time in 114 races. There's always a record to be broken, so what, I wonder, is in store for us today? We're racing today then in Travis County, Texas, around the 20 corners of the wonderful Circuit of the Americas. We'll be reaching speeds of around 200 miles an hour, and there are plenty of good opportunities to pass, especially through the 2 DRS zones into turn 1 and the very long back straight into turn 12. Now, Anthony Davidson, I wonder, might we be in for some early pit stops today for the midfield teams, all trying to put some pressure on or disrupting things for the leaders up front?
If you're in the middle of the pack, you know, you got your own race to run. I don't think they're going to be thinking about causing trouble up front. However, closer to the head of the pack, don't be surprised to see some split strategies. If you're running second and third, for example, bringing one car in for an undercut while leaving the other one out there longer can put a lot of pressure on the leader and maybe force him into an error.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, just edging out Alexander Albon, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Verstappen, Pierre Gasly and Leclerc, Magnussen, Vettel, Sainz and Esteban Ocon, Perez, Stroll, Lando Norris and Renault, Latifi, Russell, Nick de Vries and Antonio Giovinazzi, Matsushita and Daniel Kvyat completes the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
We came close to scoring points last race. Let's make it happen today.
Well, at least it's something a little bit different from Jeff this weekend, as opposed to you score points in the last race, keep it up, basically. But we did come close. We came in 14th. We came 11th, rather. Our teammate got the points and not us, which was annoying. But fire lights are out and away we go for the United States Grand Prix. And it's a poor start for the Racing Point, a better start for ourselves and Norris, who sort of got bogged down. We're going to dive it down the inside, trying to get not pinched by Sebastian Vettel, who's still a Ferrari driver, out around the outside of Carlos Sainz. Can we make this move stick? No, we can't. We will get close to the edge as we watch Pierre Gasly, who's had an amazing start, back up into P2. Remember, he led pretty much the entirety of the Japanese Grand Prix, only to fall down to third. But meanwhile, back in our race, we have been joined by our teammate Esteban Ocon, somebody who I'm not really a fan of in real life, to be honest. But nevertheless, in the game, we've had our moments where it's not really gone well, and he keeps trying to get close into this hairpin, but we keep blocking him off, shoving him out wide, and that has its consequences because Charles Leclerc has now gone by on lap, I think this is lap 5. But to be fair to Ocon, though, he does put the fight back in with Leclerc in the Ferrari and goes back down the inside. Obviously, at this point, I presume we have a better car than the Ferrari. But Leclerc comes back down the inside as we go into the Turkey start, and now makes up into P9. As we continue to watch P4 now is Kevin Magnussen in the other AlphaTauri. So this is worrying. AlphaTauri are on a good weekend. They could catch and overtake us in the Constructors' Championship. We're a little bit further ahead though in the drivers, but still, as Leclerc now, we can see the little trolley train. It's pretty much the entirety of the grid, and there's literally about a 10-second gap to the car in front. As we're coming now into the pits at the end of lap number 8, Ocon and Gasly both go on. Ocon and Leclerc, both go on. So that's worrying whether we might get overcut by either of them. There's a Williams in as well. Norris is in as well. He had a poor qualifying. I don't know why Norris's AI gets such a poor qualifying when it's definitely not the case in real life. But anyway, what can you do? As Kvyat as well is into the pits, and he's out ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Now, depending on how close Kvyat is, this could be Kvyat getting points. Both Williams are actually going well. You can see that we're going around the outside of Ocon, and we've gone wide. We've managed to maintain the position. We block Ocon off going into the S section. As we're watching Max Verstappen, who's been in the wars and is coming in for a second stop. No punch, of course, because they don't exist in F1 2020. It's purely the fact that he needs the front wing replaced. As Gasly now is in DRS range of Bottas, and he's getting ready to setting the Finn up, reminding the Finn of the anguish of leading all the race until the last lap and then taking it away from him. So yes, back to our POV though. We've lost 5 seconds out to Leclerc, and so coming through to the S section, we've gone wide and there's yellow flag, and I think Ocon is round. He's tried to take us through one of the S corners, so we've gone wide here. We've had to cut the corner. We've come out level, and at this point I'm thinking I saw him behind, and he's just clipped. I'm not even. There's the slightest of contact there, and he's gone round. But it's sure to be happened now. I mean, Ocon was faster than us. We could have let him pass, but I decided not to. As he's come out behind the other Williams, and the Haas of Nick de Vries. Haas are now slowest of all in this career mode, by the way. And he did a really good performance. As Max Verstappen has an engine failure and is out of the race. So we're watching now Kvyat. Unfortunately, his Williams developed a problem. Jeff came over the radio to say that his car wasn't very good, and Vettel has gone past and to take the points away. But it is Pierre Gasly who gets revenge on Bottas and the Mercedes, takes the win away from the German manufacturer, and comes to win his second win of the season. And after that, after Ocon spun round, it was quite an easy race for us. Perez wasn't really closing in, he was on the hard tyres, so we were able to just really manage the gap to Perez to about a second and come around the corner for it's points again, but it's not the points we really want. Really, 8th place. We definitely need a good regulation change, but I don't know if that's going to happen, whether the car's going to come even more unstable than it already is. Really, that's the way we see. A good result though, nevertheless, for Kvyat, who managed to started last as well. So last, almost getting points. To be let down is such heartbreak for him. The fact of the matter is, his fastest lap is only a 10th slower than mine. So Williams definitely has good pace. Whether or not they can maintain that through the regulation change, plus the Ocon down in 17th. Verstappen retires out of the race as well. So it's definitely points are on the board, but for Ocon, is this a sign that we're not well? We wanted Ricciardo as our teammate, and we're clearly giving Ocon the cold shoulder. He's still not, even though he's been in the team the entire season, and he still hasn't caught up to Ricciardo's points. So yes, and AlphaTauri have now gone ahead as well.
Fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you?
Well, we dive bomb it down the inside, so that, and the power as well.
Do you think
gave
this
us,
team are performing as well as they could do?
Red Bull, yes, they're doing well.
Which department has been hit the hardest by next year's regulation changes?
It's a tough one. It's either the air or the Sashi. It's not going to be the power. But I think the Sashi's department's going to struggle.
It wasn't the cleanest race today, was it?
I don't think any of us wanted to back down. With Ocon, he's so unlucky. He's like the miniature of contact, and he goes round. But at the same time, what right does he have to be putting his nose in? The rivalry doesn't matter because we've only got 3 races remaining, and we're not going to get up to 30, I don't think. But we do gain a decent amount of driver acclaim, which is going to help us when our contract is renewed, which will be after the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So yes, 2 races remaining. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to focus on. The tyre wear will probably not be. Weight reduction is something that might interest me. The minor ones maybe. We'll see if we can get a couple of majors done as well. With only to cost, but the thing is, these upgrades are so costly. But also, we've got the aero side to think about as well. Our engine is good, but how much of a draggy car do we think we can get away with the engine that we've got? This is something that we've all got to weigh up before next season. Otherwise, we're going to be we're going to be losing out, really. But yes, that is where I'm going to leave it for today's video. If you have enjoyed, then leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, see more episodes of the F1 2020 Driver Career Mode next Monday when it comes out. Yes, I just want to say a huge thank you, by the way, to all the support over the weekend. We're on 282 subscribers as well. Also, just a quick mention, by the way, about EA buying Codemasters. Ultimately, we don't know what implication this is going to have. Whether this is going to be good or bad, we'll have to see. Well, I think only time will tell, as I said when 2K was going to say. Even if this, apparently it's gone ahead, whether or not this continues, I don't know. It's definitely going to be an interesting time for the game to see if the extra money for us, really, for the game, we actually see the game take the next step forward. I mean, we've been talking about having an F1 journey in the game for ages, so let me know what you think in the comments below about that as well. Until the next video, I'll see you next time. Take care. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your day, and